Okay, so welcome all of you guys again. For those of you hopping on the second time, we had a little bit of a malfunction here with, let me mute everyone here, with technology. So we're gonna just start over again. So once again, I am Desiree Mamot from Wyoming, and welcome to our Sunday. It's a Palm Sunday here, I was saying, and I'm super excited about this season and this beautiful springtime. So for those of you who don't know me, I was just telling my story before we got shut off there. And I was introduced to LifeVantage and these incredible products about 5.5 years ago. And I feel extremely, extremely blessed that I was, because what you're going to hear today is truly information that everyone needs to know about and that you have to share with those that you love. Michelle and Shawn came to me, like I said, a little over 5 years ago, and I am a busy mom of 3. I have a husband who works kind of a crazy hours, I guess hours that we never know what they're going to be in the cardiology field. So I really was not looking for anything new to do, let alone a job or anything like that. So if you would have told me 5.5 years ago that I would be doing something like this on a Sunday afternoon, I would have thought you were crazy. Because first off, I hated talking in front of people. So this is really big for me to be doing this, but I love it and I'm passionate about it. And when I was introduced to this, I just love health and wellness, and I love preventative medicine. So I've always really been into science and learning more about how we age and how to age better. And I was saying before that I grew up with a mom who was very much into health and fitness. So I learned a lot at a young age, and I feel very blessed that I did. Just because I'll share more of my story, but my health journey and some of my family members have been through a lot over the last few years. And so I'm so grateful for growing up in a home knowing about it, but for this opportunity specifically and these products and what they've done for my life specifically. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to screen share, and it's going to work this time. Hey, we're already off to a better start here. So So what I'm going to show you today is what like I said, was introduced to just 5.5 years ago. And we're going to talk a little more about this term called biohacking. For most of you guys, I think of biohacking as maybe a negative thing when it comes to computers. I had never heard about biohacking your body. And so that's what I'm going to show you today, how we actually are able to biohack our bodies and actually change your bodies, the genes at the cellular level. So this is a really huge deal when you're talking health, wellness, and prevention. So I'm going to play for you guys. Back in 2005, this ABC report aired, and I'm going to go ahead and play that for you now. And let me know if you can't hear it. We're going to go back. Why is everything crazy today? Okay, why doesn't anything want to play? Oh, it's my day, isn't it?
The following is an ABC primetime investigative report that aired in 2005.
You want to get an edge on turning back the clock with just a few pills? Who doesn't? Well, it's no longer science fiction, but science possibility, a potential breakthrough. As I found out firsthand, there may be a way to erase years, at least inside my body. Granted, it's down the road, but some scientists are wondering if a new pill I took might offer a very long life. It may not look like the fountain of youth, but inside this nondescript building, I'm about to become part of an exciting experiment, a kind of guinea pig. Dr. McCord, okay. I'm here at the University of Colorado in Denver to meet Dr. Joe McCord, a world-renowned scientist. This is pretty exciting stuff you find, huh?
It is. We're very excited about it.
His latest research could very well unravel the mystery of aging itself. And his decades of experiments may have the potential of adding years to people's lives and possibly prevent chronic diseases like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. It all centers around this small yellow pill, and for me, it begins with a blood test.
Can we scoop? Yeah, there we go.
It wouldn't be the first time I've given blood for this company.
check my levels of something called T-bars, which is a rough indicator of a person's actual age. T-bars can identify a condition known as oxidative stress, a kind of measure of the wear and tear on our bodies. Oxidative stress, like the rusting of an engine, is not a good thing.
Bad for the body,
Leading to disease.
leading to disease and leading to malfunction, and importantly, leading to what we call aging. It is a slow progression of increasing oxidative stress. That's the main characteristic biochemically of the aging process.
The problem of aging begins with the very food we eat to give us energy. As our cells burn that food, they also release toxic chemicals. Those chemicals, you may know them as free radicals, react with all the components of our cells, literally bombarding them millions of times per second, damaging all our cells. The result? Oxidative stress, and we all have it. The body fights back with a system of defenses. It makes two antioxidant enzymes, catalase and SOD, whose job is to gobble up the free radicals before they can harm our cells. But as we get older, some of those toxic radicals overwhelm our enzymes and wreak their havoc. For a long time, scientists thought that antioxidant vitamins like C and E would lower it, but they don't.
As it's turned out in just the last 5 years or so, we see that they're not good enough tools. They're not powerful enough.
But this pill, he says, is powerful enough. In fact, many times more powerful.
So, doctor, how often do I take these?
And so, here I go. With that swallow, I've just become part of a potentially landmark scientific experiment.
Doesn't taste bad.
It's called Protandim, and tests on both mice and humans have already shown that it revs up the manufacture of those good enzymes in our bodies. More enzymes, fewer free radicals to harm us. Whether that will lead to longer life is still unknown. Experiments to see if mice live longer are about to get underway, but it's a tantalizing theory.
Right now, all we know is that this preparation decreases oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is not a disease, just like aging is not in itself a disease, but it's something that accompanies and is attached to many disease processes.
Have you discovered the fountain of youth?
I wouldn't put it that way, but we may have discovered something that will tell us a lot more about how we age, what happens biochemically, and maybe how we can slow it down. And so you can see the age-related.
Normally, oxidative stress, measured by those T-bars, increases with age. But in Dr. McCord's tests, taking just one pill of Protandim a day reversed that trend for everyone at every age, even for an 80-year-old.
They all are reduced to the level of oxidative stress that one would expect, frankly, in a newborn or a very young child.
Back to the oxidative stress levels of a child? It sounds too good to be true. Will Protandim work on me?
But what about my progress? After nearly 2 weeks now, it's time to get my results. Dr. McCord calculates the numbers. The result? My level of oxidative stress has declined dramatically.
45%, that's excellent.
Just look at where I fall on the graph, before and after.
Which, if extrapolated back, is the level you would see in a newborn baby.
Have we turned back the clock? Well, maybe not on the outside, but deep inside within my cells. Yes, indeed.
Would you suggest I keep taking this supplement?
I would.
And so, ancient Eastern healing and modern Western medicine may soon be working together. High oxidative stress is associated with more than aging. It's been linked to hundreds of illnesses.
It's at the very center of many diseases: liver disease, diabetes, emphysema, asthma. I've studied all of these: strokes, heart attacks,
Even mental disease.
yes,
Depression?
Alzheimer's disease, depression. But we do know that oxidative stress is part of those disease processes. I don't want to wait until I'm 80 years old and find out that I should have taken it.
The company that makes Protandim says its tests show the pill, made from ingredients used for centuries, is absolutely safe. But because it's being sold as a nutritional supplement and not a drug, Protandim does not need FDA approval for safety.
Protandim NRF2 is protected by 7 U.S. patents. Major universities and government agencies initiated and continue self-funded studies following the ABC Primetime Investigative Report you just viewed that originally aired back in 2005. These studies continue to reveal more scientific evidence about Protandim NRF2's unique benefits and to evaluate how this anti-aging breakthrough can prevent and improve many of the problems associated with aging. The next video will bring you up to date on what happened next.
So the vitality stack starts with the basic foundation, Nerve 1, Nerve 2 ProBio, to which we added the new product Omega Plus.
Nerve 1 is helping specifically our mitochondrial function. It's helping the number of mitochondria that we need, so it helps the energy state, and it's also helping as far as what the blueprint is being followed, what genes are being expressed. Unfortunately, mitochondria, they produce free radicals, and oxidative stress is actually increased the more powerful they are and the more in use they are. So we need to take Protandim Nerve 2 alongside with it to decrease that free radicals, to decrease that oxidative stress that's happening. And that's why we also call it a 1-2 punch, because not only are we helping our mitochondria function normally, but we need to clean up the debris that happens with a good functioning mitochondria.
The probiotic that we have, it's going to improve the health of the gut, which is where 80% of your immune system starts.
So to have the company create a probio that has well-being in it, that helps to calm that immune response, and in a timely fashion where it actually gets throughout the whole intestinal tract to address the immune system.
The omega-3s are an essential component of our cell membranes, and omega-3 deficiency makes that cell membrane not function very well. We need those omega-3s to keep our cell membranes, our nervous system, our brain healthy. The other thing, vitamin D, is something that is just essential from all aspects. It improves immune systems. I think when you combine all of these products together, you've got the home run.
We're going to continue to be at the forefront of nutrigenomics, coming up with scientific products that are proven to get a better benefit than you could possibly get by just taking those ingredients alone and then applying that to the biohacking outcomes of our customers today.
Okay, so, okay, now we have full screen here, so I'm not really sure what's going on today. So as you guys can see there, so they talked a little bit more about that biohacking term that I was saying before. So where it actually says it's a verb or taking control of a complex system, specifically your own biology, in order to achieve a desired outcome. So the really incredible thing about this is this other word that you're seeing up in the corner called nutrigenomics. And, you know, I had never heard of that when this was introduced to me. But what that means essentially is using foods, you know, that God had put on this earth, great nutrients, herbs, different things, using food to actually activate the body. So it's biohacking the body. So it's getting to the cellular level. And it's actually one of my favorite people in our company who I just absolutely adore, Dr. Sveta Silverman. She talks about how she says that 98% of our genes actually aren't coded, like only 2% are coded. So that other 98% can be changed. So that's what we're talking about here with LifeVantage, is actually biohacking or changing our genes. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to live with what you're born with. And we'll tell you kind of why or what is bombarding our bodies and causing disease and why we can help it out. So, and as you can see down here, you know, health and wellness is a $600 billion market. So we're talking one of the biggest markets when it comes to what people are interested in. They want to slow down aging. They want to feel better. So it's huge, huge deal. So, you know, when that actually aired back in 2005, you just saw a small clip there of what aired, but that was originally in 2005. And at that time, it was one of those deals that we were just this small little company. The doctor you saw in the report and just a few other scientists. We weren't this big business. Currently, we are actually publicly traded now, but at the time, we were just a small little biotech company. And the problem with that is that no one knew about Protandim. No one knew about LifeVantage. So ABC, they came to the doctor McCord there, and they said, we want to air this piece about you because we don't believe what you're claiming is true. We don't believe that you can reduce oxidative stress by 40% on average in 30 days. So they said, can we do this piece on you? And what company would not kill for ABC to come to you and say, we want to air you on national television? So they said, sure, come on in. And they aired that clip. And what happened is that when people saw that the outcome of this ABC piece that was supposed to expose a scam. It wasn't supposed to turn out positive. So they ended up airing it anyway. And when people saw that, millions of orders came through. Actually, $5 million of orders for Protandim came in just a 3-week period. And at the time, it was $50 plus shipping and handling. But still, if you're thinking $5 million worth of a $50 product, that is a ton of product. And the problem is that they didn't ask for this. Our company didn't ask for this. And they didn't have, there wasn't infrastructure, there wasn't customer service. So they didn't have people to actually ship out product. So the hype just went away. And so I always tell people, unless you have someone who cares about you enough to share this with you, you probably have never heard about biohacking or about nutrigenomics or about Protandim or LifeVantage. So in 2009, a gentleman came in and said, you're just in the wrong way of distributing this. You need to be in person-to-person sales or in network marketing. And I think for a lot of people, and I was one of them, I never had a negative thought about network marketing. I always was buying products from friends who worked for other companies. I didn't have a positive or a negative thought about it, to be honest, but I was uneducated on it for sure. And so, just like a lot of people, the doctor who formulated this thought, there is no way I want my company, this medical breakthrough, in a network marketing company. But they said it's just like anything. When you see a good movie or when you have a good experience at a restaurant or a negative experience, you tell people about it. And so they decided, okay, what do we have to lose? We have this product that we have to get out to the world. So in 2009, because they did so well in network marketing, they switched completely over from retail sales. And we grew from just less than $10 million to over a $200 million company in just a year. So it was just getting that right avenue of sharing the product. And so they took it completely out of retail stores because, as you can imagine, if this is sitting on a shelf, these products, you wouldn't have a clue why they're any different than anything else. When you go into GNCs and Whole Foods, natural grocers, there's so many products there. And so why would you grab Protandim or any of the other products we're talking about today if you didn't know what they were doing? So that's why, we're sold this way. So I love telling people we're not a pyramid scheme. We just simply are this beautiful publicly traded company that's trying to help the world and to educate other people on biohacking the body. So, one of those things when we're talking about oxidative stress and why in that ABC report, why were millions of dollars, why were people calling in wanting to buy Protandim? Well, the reason being is that these people understood what oxidative stress was. And I think most people, I was one of them, hadn't really heard of it. I had heard of stress, obviously, and knowing that that's not a good thing for the body. But oxidative stress, essentially what it is on the left side here, we get it everywhere. So it doesn't matter how healthy you are, whether you're the cleanest eater, you work out consistently, you don't drink any alcohol, you get all the sleep that you need, you're still going to be bombarded with oxidative stress. So essentially what it is rusting of the body from the inside out. And the way that we get oxidative stress is from things like, you see the water, like pollution, even exercise itself, gasoline, cell phones, just holding the cell phone up to your head, microwave ovens, GMOs, pesticides, all of these things that are put into our water and our food. And, I always say that our kids and us are bombarded with more toxins than even when I was younger, just 30 years ago. It's crazy how toxic our world has become. So how they explain oxidative stress is that when you cut an apple open. It's when your body, it's normal to have free radicals, but when it's when you have too many free radicals, it leads to oxidative stress, which is inflammation, which is the root cause of over 200 diseases. So that's one of those things that we can definitely claim, is that oxidative stress is the root cause of over 200 diseases. So we have people a lot of times, that come to us and ask about various things. Would Protandim help with macular degeneration? Would it help with diabetes? Would it help with cancer? Would it help with autoimmune diseases, autism? You name it, it's all over the place, and we're surrounded by people who are affected by these diseases. So if you look at the chart on the right, that's showing how oxidative stress affects the different parts of the body. So we always tell people, by reducing oxidative stress, and if you go to a website, it's called pubmed.gov, and we can give this out afterwards as well. This is a Library Institute of Health. This is where all peer-reviewed medical studies are published. And if you look up oxidative stress and whatever disease you want to know about, you can see how many studies, and you can connect the dots for yourself. Because this is not a drug, which we love that about it, that we love that it's not a drug. We don't want it to be in a pharmaceutical, in the hands of pharmaceutical sales. We want it to be something that everyone in the world can have and can afford, and it's all natural. So there is not, a lot of people ask us if it's an FDA approved, but FDA only works with pharmaceutical drugs, not natural nutraceuticals like we're talking about today. So these are some of the, a lot of times people come to us a lot and say, since it's not an FDA drug, and so it's not going to be FDA approved, but I think the bigger part of that is that we have places like this that you see on here: Johns Hopkins, Louisiana State, University of Colorado, Denver, American Heart Association. These are the people who saw that piece that aired back in 2005 and said, we understand oxidative stress. We understand that you are this small company and that you are not able to fund your own studies. And that since it is a natural supplement, we are not able to fund our own studies in regards to various diseases. However, someone else can come in and say, we want to study Protandim in regards to, like Louisiana State did, in regards to melanoma skin tumors, American Heart Association in regards to the heart. So all of these places that are extremely reputable sources have actually conducted studies on our flagship product, Protandim, with their own dime. So that's a really huge deal. That was really big to my husband, since he is in the medical field. He was very skeptical at first about this and thought, oh, this is so crazy that, we're talking about this all natural activator supplement, and that, why would this be any different than any other product out there? But when he saw places like this that were actually performing their own studies, that got his wheel turning. And I think that made my belief in these products even that much bigger, coming from somebody who had been living and working in the medical field for years. So what's the biggest difference when you're talking Protandim, what we call our NRF2 activator, if you see at the bottom there? So what makes that any different than just taking a vitamin? So as you can see on the left side there, that's when you take a vitamin, or when you take things like vitamin C, vitamin E, these are what we call direct antioxidants. And these are only able to actually extinguish out, I guess you would say, one free radical for one molecule of antioxidant. So they love to compare, if your body was on fire and you were to just take a multivitamin, or just by eating good, which we tell people, continue to eat good, clean, healthy food. However, that's only capable for one molecule antioxidant of killing one free radical. So that's not really doing much if your body is this house fire. It's like throwing a Dixie cup, we say, of water on it. But if you have something like Protandim, where you're activating this pathway called NRF2, it's killing 1 million free radicals per second, every second, by activating your body's own defense mechanism, your body's own antioxidant genes. And so it's like having, we say, this fireman or this fire hose in every part of your body. So at the bottom there, where you see that it turns on your body's production of things like catalase, glutathione, and SOD, which is this very big long term, But what these are your own, like I said, your own antioxidant genes. So when we talk about NRF2 or NRF2 activation, you can't get it by just eating food. You have to actually activate it. So that's a really incredible thing about Protandim, is that it's not this magic pill, but what's in your body. God made a beautiful, miraculous body that can heal itself. So when you go in and take this pill, it's just activating what's already in your body. And I always tell people, think of this NRF2 or this pathway as a bunch of light switches. Like your genes are a bunch of light switches. And what this does is it just comes on and it says, turn down these or turn up these light switches. And so it's very different for each person's body, which is the unique thing about it, is that it does what your body needs. So it's very different than anything out there in the world, literally on the market, when it comes to actually activating your own genes. So I love this slide because we have people that come to us. It is 5 all natural ingredients, and they're all incredible ingredients separately. However, the reason why we have US and international patents is because it's this perfect recipe, or in baking, it's just like in baking, when you want to have every ingredient perfect, or it doesn't, turn out the same. That's why I say I love cooking and not baking, because I don't love to be that so specific, I guess, on measuring out. But with Protandim, it has to be this perfect ratio of these 5 ingredients. And then you see here where you see each individual ingredient, but when it's put together in this perfect recipe, it makes each ingredient 18-fold or 18 times more effective than on its own. So you can't take green tea or turmeric separate and actually get it to activate your NRF2 pathway. And the other thing about this that I love is that a lot of times people come to us and they talk about drug interactions, or is it okay if I take Protandim with such and such, or is it safe for, my child to take? And I'm not claiming, we would never, I guess you would say, do studies on children. But if you look at what I tell people is that each of these ingredients are so tiny. It's just like a 1/5 to a 1/10 of a medicinal dose. They're not these giant doses of any of them. So that's why it's just like eating food, or like we call it a superfood. So there is no drug interactions, because it's just activating what God already put in your body. And for me, a little bit on my story there, I always share is that that was really a big deal to me, that there were no known drug interactions and the safety of it, because my son was diagnosed a little over 3 years ago when he was 7 with AML leukemia. And for those of you who know much about leukemia, AML is that one that they told me you don't want to have. It's the other types that you want to have, especially when you're a child. So that was never good news as a mom. But what I knew about 3 days after he was diagnosed, when I was trying to get over the shock of everything, I knew that there was a reason that I knew about this. And it was more than just, the knowledge that I had gained over the last couple of years and the belief in the product. I believe truly that it was given to me because I had to get this in my son's body at the time of him being diagnosed. And one of the things that I actually went to his doctors with was just what I was explaining to you before, that no drug interaction, because of those tiny amounts. And the other thing that I brought to them was this paper that was actually published just 15 days after he was diagnosed. And this is not done by our company, but what this is saying here is that NRF2 may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and the most extraordinary preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. And this was done by Washington State. So this was huge, you guys. When you see something like this talking about this pathway, I knew that there was a huge reason that I had to fight to get this in his body. And the really beautiful thing about it is that even though I was terrified to go to the head oncologist there, she ended up approving him to take it. So if you guys know very much about, or if you've had to deal with, which all of us either know someone personally or maybe personally are dealing with cancer, there is not many things that they actually allow when you're talking chemotherapy, and definitely not natural supplements, even though we're talking about an activator. But it was pretty huge in my mind that they actually allowed that. So that was pretty cool. And he's on it to this day. He doesn't miss a day, and I chase him around, literally. He doesn't miss it ever, or any of our products for that matter. So this is another thing that I find really intriguing about the science behind this, is that other people, when I said that other companies came to us and actually performed their own studies, there's actually pharmaceutical companies who are also trying to mimic this technology in regards to various diseases. And one specifically is with MS. And there is only one drug out that is specific to MS. It's the only other NRF2 activator that we are aware of. It's the only pharmaceutical one that we are aware of. And it's the number one MS drug. And the neat thing about it, when they compared it to Protandim head to head before it was FDA approved, they actually found, you can see down there in bold print, it says, interestingly, Protandim, a dietary supplement consisting of herbal ingredients, was the most potent inducer and therefore might be the most suited as therapeutic strategies. So I don't know what you guys think about that, but to me, that was huge. When we're getting compared, this pathway is, this drug is $1 billion drug within the first year. So we're talking, this is a huge, huge deal in MS and in the prevention of lesions around the brain, relapse. So that's a big, big deal, you guys. Another thing that we love to show is that this was done by Oregon State University. And this is also talking about this pathway that Protandim activates. When it finds a problem, NRF2 essentially goes back to the cellular nucleus and rings the alarm bell, where it can turn on up to 200 genes that are responsible for cell repair, detoxification of carcinogens, protein and lipid metabolism, antioxidant protection, and other actions in their report. So they say it's called a longevity assurance factor. And I'm going to show you on this. So back in that report, when they say that someday we hope that we can essentially say that it extends life. And at the bottom of your screen there, one of the places, or one of the people who has done a study on Protandim NRF2 is the NIH, or the NIA, which is the National Institute of Anti-Aging. And what they found is that Protandim, this was a funded study, and it was the only natural product proven to extend lifespan by an average of 7%. So if you guys, I mean, I tell people, if that doesn't get you excited and if that doesn't make you want to take this, then I'm not sure what will, because who doesn't want to live not necessarily just a longer life, but a healthier and longer life? Because we say that people, you know, my husband says this all the time, they see people getting sicker and sicker at a younger and younger age because of oxidative stress, because of what our bodies are getting bombarded with, because of inflammation. And so if you could actually extend your life and have quality and quantity of life, like, to me, that's a no-brainer for $40.99 a month plus shipping and handling. I mean, that's pretty incredible in my opinion. And so Protandim is the only supplement proven in a clinical study to reduce oxidative stress in humans by an average of 40% in 30 days. And so those are some pretty big things that we can actually say. So I get super excited, as you can see, about this product for what it's done for my family specifically. And so second off, so that was NRF2. And this is what we're going to talk about next. It's called NRF1. And this is actually addressing mitochondrial dysfunction. And so I know a lot of us have heard of the mitochondria, that you remember that, you know, from high school science, when they were talking about it being the powerhouse of the cell. Well, they say as we age, you know, our mitochondria either aren't working as efficiently, we're not making as much mitochondria. So that's why people start to feel tired, they feel blah, they maybe aren't sleeping as well. They aren't able to work out like they used to. They just overall are not feeling as with it, I guess you would say. And so the reason being is because the mitochondria, like I said, are slowing down, are not working as properly. However, there are also diseases that are directly linked to mitochondrial dysfunction. And some of these are actually on the right side here. So when you're talking things with the brain, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, diabetes, MS, all of these, cancer even. So that was another big deal. That's why my kiddo, I choose to give him this every single day, because we know that a lot of cancers are not necessarily immune function. It's a lot of times something wrong with the mitochondria. And also on the other half, a lot of cancers, it's inflammation. And so I always say, between both these products, you're addressing a lot of what is hitting our body and causing cancers. And so another reason this is huge for me is I actually was diagnosed with Lyme disease a couple of years ago. And Lyme disease, they have proven, is a mitochondrial dysfunction disorder. So there are so many of these things out there that are affecting people negatively because of something that is wrong with the mitochondria. So the NRF1, it increases cellular energy, improves performance. It just overall enhances cellular health, quality of sleep, energy. So just overall, it's slowing down the aging process, just like NRF2 that we were talking about. We say it's that 1-2 punch that taken together is just this beautiful combination. So next, as you saw in that video, they were talking about what they call our vitality stack. And the first 2 products that I just talked about are part of that stack. And this is the third product in that. And this is the probiotic. And this probiotic is unlike no other probiotic that I've ever seen out there, literally. And I've researched a lot of them. When my son was sick, I learned a lot about the gut and stomach. And he had a lot of gut issues. And so I knew that I had learned that the immune system is in the gut. And as you heard in that video, 70 to 80% of the immune system is in the gut. So if your gut isn't healthy, then the rest of your body isn't healthy. For people even who have a hard time losing weight, if your gut is not healthy, you don't have that gut-brain communication going on. So it's really hard to lose weight as well. So what our probiotic has is something called BioTrack. And it's a special technology. So they're like little round gobstopper balls. So this is our one product that really, it cannot be cut or crushed because it actually changes and breaks up and it stops. We need that technology in order to get the probiotic to where it needs to be. So most probiotics, they say around 4 to 5% are actually alive where they need to be because they're killed by either the food you eat, your intestinal tract, like when you're breaking food down. So it doesn't get to where it needs to be. Well, ours actually is proven that 60%. So you can either 4 or 60. That's a no-brainer in my opinion. If you're spending the money, don't be wasting your money on something that's not actually getting to that lower gut, the colon area where it needs to be. So with that, and there's another component called Wellmune in our probiotic that helps modulate the immune system. So this is huge when you're talking disease and prevention. So I tell people a probiotic is a must when you're talking either healing currently what's going on in your body or preventing further damage, because the gut is the immune system. So you have to heal that first. The fourth part of this vitality stack, and the reason we call it the vitality stack, is if you were to take these 4 products, you're literally encompassing what your body needs, from the brain to the gut to inflammation, just overall mitochondria. So it's a huge, huge deal. And the fourth part of it is the Omega Plus. And this is a traceable, pure form of omega-3, which I love because I'm a big stickler on, heavy metals, things like that being in products in my house, specifically for my son who already has high heavy metals from transplants, from having so many blood transfusions. So this was a big deal to me that we have a beautiful, clean source that not only has your omega-3s to support brain health, heart health, skin health, but omega-7, which also helps with weight management. So those 4 products together are what we call a vitality stack. And for $149 free shipping, I tell people you couldn't take $5 a day and spend it on a better thing than that. I always say I spent more on coffee before this, but if I could spend $5 a day to get those 4 products in my body every day and in every person in my house, it's so worth it to me. Because I always say you either pay for it now or later in life. Because you either try to prevent or you pay for it later in medical bills, in my opinion. So what I've seen. So last, I'm going to run through a couple of our last products since we got started a little later with my technology problems. So because of those melanoma skin tumor studies done by Louisiana State and what they saw, they said you have to make, you need to protect the largest organ of our body, which is our skin. You have to protect that from oxidative stress. So they made a 4-part system that is a NRF2 activator for the skin. We are the first and only in the United States ever to have a NRF2 activator for your skin. And the beautiful thing about this is that this is great for all skin types. And I love that there isn't anything in it that you couldn't literally eat. I'm a big, like I said, about what the ingredients are going on my skin, going in our food. So this is actually activating your body to heal itself, to do the work. And you can see on the screen there, just 60 days after using the full regimen. You can buy them separately. We tell people if you want maximum benefit altogether, they work incredibly. Men, women, children alike. It's awesome for sunburns, for healing, scars, you name it. So it does actually help fine lines and wrinkles, but it's actually protecting the skin from what else is going on or bombarding it or aging it. So the next product here I'm going to discuss is Axio. And Axio is a brain drink. It's smart energy. It's not a awful for you Red Bull or energy drink that are so bad for your heart, so bad for your mind, your gut. But what this is doing is it's actually increasing energy, mental clarity, focus, and there's decaf, and then there's Axio regular, which has green tea extract for caffeine. So I love, there's no artificial sweeteners, no artificial colors. It's just all natural ingredients that are actually activating your brain. So you can see this is a kiddo that it shows before taking NRF2 and Axio and 1 week after. And so the cool thing about this is a kiddo who struggles from ADHD. And what this is showing is that is up in the brain. You know, a lot of times kiddos who are on the spectrum. I have a daughter who has had some learning problems and is actually repeating kindergarten this year. And what we saw happen after this, I'm not claiming anything because it's not a drug. We can't claim it treats, cures, prevents, mitigates disease. But when we gave her brain what it needed, when we decreased inflammation, her teacher noticed results within 2 weeks of her taking these products, because it was just taking what was kind of, muffled in her brain that she knew, but she just couldn't put it out on paper. Same thing like this. We saw increased handwriting, focus, just overall grades. So this you just add to water, and it makes people drink a lot of water, which I love. Okay, last but not least, this is the Physique line, and this is a healthy weight, long-term weight management system. This is getting to the root cause of why someone may struggle with weight management. And so I did talk about our probiotic already. It is a 4-part system. And please get back with the persons who invited you, or we can answer more questions at the end. But for time's sake, what I would say about this for sure is that it's such a natural way of using natural fruit extracts at targeting the visceral fat, which is your unhealthy disease-causing fat. So this is a 4-part, and it can be bought separately or together as a full system. Last but not least here, it's called Protandim for dogs. And what this came about because people were giving human Protandim that we talked about to their pets and seeing some pretty incredible things. So they decided they needed to ethically make something for pets and not tell people to go out and give their pet a human product. So they made the first ever NRF2 activator for pets. And it also it supports joint function and cognitive function, their fur. So there's added omegas, things like that are perfect for animal health. So I always tell people, if you don't believe what we have is a big deal, or if you don't believe that, oh, it sounds too good to be true, I say put it in a pet or a child, because it's pretty cool. Just like my daughter, we couldn't have told her a couple weeks later that her brain has been activated, or that she has less inflammation going on, or that we're healing her gut with the probiotics. So, and a year later, I say she's just a different person, and her teacher's just shocked by who she is. But we couldn't have told her to do that. So I say put in a pet or a child if you don't believe any of this. So for me, I always tell people, I was really honest in the beginning that I didn't get involved with this for the money, for the business part of it. I wasn't looking for another thing to do. I was just looking for something to help health that I didn't know at the time I had Lyme disease, but I had a lot of things going on. So I was looking for something to either help me or the people that I loved around me. And so the business part to me, I didn't quite get it. And now I say 5.5 years later, I'm just as passionate about the business as I am about the health side of this. So what we're showing here is that this is called the Harvard S curve. And this is what all businesses go through. And it's showing that they say most businesses actually they're bankrupt before they even start. Or if they can get to this early stage, most people have no idea. They've never heard of these companies that are in these early times of adoption here. And we're at this point where you can see the little black dot there. We're getting close to what they call momentum. And momentum is when they say that if you were to get into a company before it reaches momentum, then those people will make 80% of the money that the company will ever make in its entire life of the existence of the company. And so those companies that have reached momentum are, your companies like Mary Kay or even 31 Bags, these different ones, Pampered Chef, that we've all heard about. But people don't know about LifeVantage. They don't know about biohacking your body. And we're growing so fast now over these last couple of years because people are wanting to be healthier. They're wanting to prevent disease, changes in healthcare. People are they want to get to the root cause of disease. They're not looking for acute care like we're so good at here in the United States. And so we always tell people that this is really an opportunity of a lifetime. And now I'm going to be 40 in a couple of months. And I think about, they say 1 or 2 times are you ever introduced to something like this. And so I'm extremely grateful that around the age of 36 that I was introduced to this, because I don't know if I'm ever going to have something like this that's going to come along. We're in that stage where we are in so many countries. We're opening up so many different countries that we always tell people, in the United States alone, or they say there's only around 125,000 active distributors in the world. And so as far as the United States, if you just take this tiny town that I live in of 60-some thousand people in Wyoming, we'd be the only ones in the United States that know about it. So you have the rest of the world who has no idea, or the United States, what NRF2 activation or about nutrigenomics or biohacking the body. So I tell people, I'm certainly glad that I got involved and that I didn't say no to looking at the business part, because I was intrigued by the science. And so when I heard about residual income and the potential with this, I didn't understand the importance of that. And as you can see here, this is a monthly average. There's ranks of distributors all the way up to actually Master Pro 12 now, I guess you would say. So it even goes farther than this. But that monthly average is what people on average make. And, the beautiful thing about this is that the majority of our business, 80%, is actually made up of customers. That is, the product is directly shipped to them, and they just know the value of it. So they take it over and over again each month because they want to keep it in their bodies. And so we get to have 80% of our business is that customers. And so I tell people, if that's you, if you are somebody that you could just see yourself taking advantage of using these products and getting the wholesale price, the preferred customer price, then get back with the person who invited you, because these products are life-changing. And I tell people, if you're that person that's maybe entrepreneurial and you're like, holy cow, I want to take advantage of this publicly traded company that is involved in a $600 billion a year business of nutrition and wellness. Or you're one of those that like, what if what I'm telling you today is true? I want to be a part of that. Then I tell people, you absolutely have to look into becoming a distributor. Or if you were just like me, who didn't know those great business things and wasn't looking at it for that, I say, if you're Rolodexing people in your mind who you keep thinking about, I've got to tell so-and-so with RA, I've got to tell so-and-so who has a kiddo with autism, I've got to tell so-and-so who lost their job last month about this, then I tell people, absolutely don't be closed to being a distributor because you think it's just another job like I did, because it is absolutely one of the best things I said yes to. Because for me, 2 years after joining, when my son was diagnosed, I had no idea that I was going to be moving to Denver for 6.5 months and that I would drop everything and my whole life here in Wyoming and go and take care of him. And the neat thing about it is that I had dug the well before I needed it. So I had built up to this residual income that I received each week and monthly while I wasn't able to work. And I didn't have to worry about that because I had this team of people that had my back and just kept sharing this over and over again. So I tell people, build a plan B if you don't have a plan B, because you have no idea what is going to come next. And I say there's that third group who, isn't quite ready to commit to being a distributor or to being a customer. But if you want more information, get back with the person who introduced you. There's so many incredible things that you can read about these products, listen to. So I'd be happy to give you more information on that. This screen is showing, if you're someone interested in becoming a distributor, there's 3 different packs. And the great thing about them is that they come with all this product. So there is really no risk. And that's honestly, I thought, if I'm out, $30, $40, I have wasted a lot more on a lot less. And so that's why I became a distributor. And I came in at the top pack at that time, where now it's our platinum pack at $1,250. It's a 30% savings on your product, where the gold pack is $650 and the silver pack is $350. And they all come with product. And so I tell people it's the best way to get started is the platinum, just because you get every single product that you get to try, which I love because I can't live without any of them. And these are a few of our subscription stacks is what they're called. And we talked about the Vitality Stack today, those 4 products. If you were to pick something to take for the rest of your life every day, I would say invest that $5 a day if you're able to do that financially. And if you're not, get back with that person and figure out which product combination you need specifically. But I tell people these are a huge, huge, huge reason that you need to get these in your bodies. So I'm going to quit screen sharing here for all of you guys, and so I can see your beautiful faces. And I just want to thank you guys, for listening in. And please get back with the person who invited you, and also thank them because they cared enough, like I said, about you to bug you enough to get you on a phone call at 3:00 in the afternoon here on a Sunday. So thanks again. And I'm going to allow people, if you guys would like to unmute yourselves, I'm going to stop the recording. So in case anybody wants to, let me stop this really quick.